Hey, what's going on, guys? Felix here, and today I'm going to talk to you about the most common response that I hear when I ask someone what is their podcast about and why it's concerning. So lately, whenever someone reaches out to me, tells me about them wanting to launch a podcast or they have launched one, I ask them, "Oh, that's awesome, man! That's awesome that you're doing it. Big props for getting started." And I ask them, like, "What is the topic of your podcast?" And oftentimes they respond back with, uh, this almost verbatim that their podcast is about anything and everything, or at minimum they'll list like two or three or four different topics that they're talking about. And this is an issue because I get it, right? I get why someone would want to cover as many topics as possible because you don't want to kind of box yourself in. You don't want to restrict yourself to specific content, specific topics. You don't want to lock yourself down to that. And I felt the same way, and I also felt like I didn't want to be seen as just one guy, like one a guy that only talks about one topic. And I felt like if I did not cover more than one topic, didn't cover multiple topics, I would lose the ability to reach a wider audience, lose the ability to reach more people. So I understand why there's this urge to cover more than one topic, to talk about anything and everything, kind of leave it open ended like that. The issue though is, you think about it. If you're about to go on a date or you're about to go hang out with friends, and then everyone is looking for a place to go, you're probably not going to pull up Yelp. And think about the way that you usually do, right? You pull up Yelp and then you search for a specific cuisine. Maybe you have one, two, or three in mind, or maybe you don't have a cuisine in mind at all, but you are looking for the top restaurants around your area. And I guarantee that when you do that, you pull out your phone right now, you do that, you only see restaurants that are specializing. They're specializing in one cuisine, not even two, usually just one cuisine. And I think we've all been to these restaurants where they specialize in like 10 different things, right? It's like in New York, it's a very popular lunch spots around where it's kind of like a grill. They got a sandwich station, they got a salad station, they got a buffet, and it's like literally 10 different cuisines. But no one's ever like, let's go to that place, right? No one's ever saying, I really want to have a good meal today. Let's go to a restaurant that has 10 different cuisines. It's not going to happen, right? No one talks about it like that. I think what most people will do is that they will look for a restaurant that specializes in a specific cuisine, whether it be Italian or Chinese or Japanese or Mexican, and then look for the best restaurant that they can afford or that's around that meets that specializes in that cuisine. No one wants to settle for a restaurant that specializes, quote unquote, specializes in multiple cuisines. And that's the issue. Whenever someone is, if your podcast covers multiple things, no one's going to be able to discover you because no one's going to be able to search for the podcast that talks about anything and everything. There's no hook that people are able to identify your podcast as and able to search and find you in the iTunes store, podcast listings, or on Anchor, or in Google Play, excuse me, or even on YouTube. They're not going to be able to find your content because you are not specific about what you're talking about. And on top of that, you're probably not going to get recommended as a podcast to listen to because it's hard for people to. It makes it by making podcasts about anything and everything. It makes it hard for people to say to recall your podcast whenever someone has a specific interest. Like if your podcast is about writing books and that's all it's about, and then if a listener of yours has a friend that's thinking about writing a book or is interested in a career as an author, they're like, "Oh, I know the exact podcast for you. This podcast only talks about authors, talks about writing books, talks about self-publishing. Here it is." They're not going to be like, "Oh, there's one episode on this podcast that talks about everything. Listen to this." Like, it's not going to, they're not going to be recall it. It makes it not very shareable when your content is kind of spread all over the place. So that's a challenge, with having a podcast that talks about anything and everything, or as a podcast or if you have a podcast that talks about multiple topics, even like two or three different topics is too much. So it's certainly a challenge for you to kind of pare down. So what I recommend is like really think about what it is that you feel like you can get the most content out of, that you feel the most excited about, because I promise you that you'll be able to create content nonstop even if you kind of narrow your focus on just one topic, because you can go super deep. Almost as deep, you can go as deep as you can go wide. So why not go deep on one particular topic and be the dominant podcast on that topic, so that people can find you when they're searching in iTunes and Google Play, and you are more easily recommended by people, when you are when your topic comes up. So that's what I recommend. Pare down. If you haven't started yet, pick one topic. You can always expand later. So don't think, or even change later. But don't start off talking about anything and everything, because you're not gonna get enough traction. You're not gonna get enough audience to keep things going, and it's kind of depressing, right? You're not gonna want to keep going if no one's tuning in to listen. So hopefully that helps you out if you're thinking about starting a podcast, or if you have a podcast now and your topics, everything under the sun. It's not a good thing. You might think it's a good thing, but it's not actually a good thing. It actually will hurt you in the short term, hurt you in the long term as well. Unless you're okay with zero listeners, right? Or maybe like one or two listeners and just doing this for yourself, that's fine. Make your podcast by whatever you want. But you have a message and you want to build an audience, you want to build a listener base, a listenership. You want to build subscribers. You want to eventually spread some kind of message or build a business around your podcast. You need to focus, specialize in just one topic, and go from there. So hopefully it helps you out. If you're thinking about starting a podcast, you don't know how to launch, you don't know how to grow it, you don't know what topic to choose, and once you do choose a topic, you don't know how to get it out to the right people, make sure to grab the Podcasting Secrets course. It's over at podcastingsecretscourse.com, podcastingsecretscourse.com. Go there, grab that course, and it'll help you know the step-by-step process to launching, to growing your podcast, and building your audience. So I'll talk to you guys soon, and take care.